Welcome. Today, we're diving into Tree of Smoke by Denis Johnson, a sprawling, intense novel that takes us into the heart of the Vietnam War. More than just a war story, it's a psychological examination of espionage, faith, and the boundaries between loyalty and disillusionment. At the center of Tree of Smoke is Skip Sands, a young CIA officer, eager and idealistic. Skip arrives in Vietnam as part of his uncle's ambitious plan to lead psychological warfare operations against the Viet Cong. For Skip, it's a chance to prove himself, to carve his place in the mission he's been taught to believe in. Then we have Colonel Francis X. Sands, Skip's uncle, a legendary figure in the intelligence community. Known for his radical ideas and unyielding approach, the colonel is deeply convinced that he can outsmart the Viet Cong by creating confusion and mistrust among them. He believes victory in Vietnam is possible, but only through manipulation and disinformation. His central project, dubbed Tree of Smoke, aims to disorient and break the spirit of the Viet Cong. But as we dig deeper, we see that the colonel's motivations may be rooted more in pride and obsession than patriotism. His vision is far-reaching, but as the story unfolds, we start to question if he's truly in control or if his strategy is slipping into chaos. Johnson weaves a rich tapestry of characters around Skip and the Colonel, each adding a layer to the novel's complexity. Bill Houston, a young and somewhat disillusioned American soldier, provides a gritty, raw look at the Vietnam experience from the ground. For Bill, the war isn't a matter of strategy or patriotism, it's about survival. Bill's journey intersects with Skip's, creating a collision between two men who see the war from completely different angles. Then there's Kathy Jones, an aid worker and nurse who represents hope and compassion amid the brutality. Kathy's role highlights the war's emotional toll on everyone involved, not just the soldiers, but also those caught in the crossfire. Her relationship with Skip adds a human layer, questioning whether love or stability can survive in a world turned upside down by war. Johnson also introduces foreign agents and informants, individuals with shifting loyalties who serve as a reminder of the deceit and double-dealing at every level of the intelligence world. Their presence creates a sense of mistrust and danger that permeates the entire story. Now, let's dig deeper into the Tree of Smoke operation itself. This mission is essentially a psychological warfare program with the goal of planting misinformation within the Viet Cong. Colonel Sands envisions creating paranoia among the enemy, hoping they'll eventually turn on each other. But as the mission grows more elaborate, Skip realizes there's little distinction between what's real and what's fabricated. Skip finds himself increasingly conflicted. At first, he believes in his uncle's vision, but the longer he participates, the more he begins to doubt. Is the mission really about defeating the enemy? Or is it an unending game of deception where everyone, including himself, is a pawn? Through this complex plot, Tree of Smoke explores major themes that reach beyond the battlefield. One of the novel's central themes is the moral ambiguity of war. Characters like Skip and Bill face questions of right and wrong that have no clear answers. The Vietnam War becomes a backdrop for exploring how far people will go when they're stripped of clarity, and innocence is inevitably lost. The colonel's blind patriotism and belief in America's righteous mission leads him down a dark path. Johnson critiques this unyielding loyalty, asking readers to question the real cost of national pride, especially when it ignores the human consequences. The novel paints a world where deception is woven into the fabric of reality. From military operations to personal relationships, trust is constantly tested. Characters are forced to confront the idea that truth may be as subjective as the war itself. Johnson's prose is both poetic and raw, capturing the atmosphere of Vietnam and the emotional strain on his characters. The novel structure is nonlinear, moving back and forth through time, which can make it challenging to follow but adds to the sense of disorientation, mirroring the confusion of war itself. Without giving too much away, Tree of Smoke ends on a note that reflects the futility and cyclical nature of war. Characters who start with strong beliefs about good and evil are left questioning everything, facing disillusionment and profound loss. Johnson doesn't offer easy answers. Instead, he leaves readers with a haunting impression of the psychological and moral devastation that war inflicts on those who fight it. Tree of Smoke is a complex, challenging novel that asks us to think about the true cost of conflict, not just in lives, but in spirit and morality. It's a story that shows how war reshapes reality, making it nearly impossible to separate right from wrong. If you're ready for a deep, thought-provoking read that delves into the heart of human conflict, Tree of Smoke is worth every page. And for more analysis on the characters, themes, and the historical background of the story, check out the full breakdown on our channel.